I don't want to fight the exit. That's a huge engine. No production at all yet. They're all working. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
It's on.
On
ครับ